Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our presentation here at NCTC. We are coming live from the Corinth campus here of NCTC, straight from room 251. I'd like to introduce myself. I am Professor Wallach. I'm pretty much the head person in charge of the game development and application programming degree here at NCTC. We are a programming degree with focusing with a lot of game technology. We use Unreal, we use Unity. You'll see all Unity projects today with our presentations. We do have enough design and art to make our, as I would say, make our students dangerous. Basically, they are strong prototypers to get things done. What you will be seeing today is basically the first project you'll see is from the first year. This is the capstone for the for the certificate degree. And then you'll see two projects from the capstone of the associate's degree program. Yeah, again, you'll see, again, these are all Unity projects. You will see, again, the format is you'll see each of the teams come up, they'll present, they've got slides prepared, and then they'll demonstrate their project, and then there'll be a chance for you to to ask questions. Again, we are live on YouTube as it is right now, so if you have questions, you can put them into chat. I'll be keeping an eye on chat. And I will definitely be taking some questions from chat as it has been the past year or so. So with that, I'm gonna bring up our first team, the Haunted Hijinks team.
Well, hello there, everyone, and we are the Haunted Hijinks team. I'm Troy, and I serve as the project lead. I have made the base concept of this game, the art, and I've coded all of the core mechanics in this game.
My name is Daniel. I programmed the doors and did a lot of the various quality assurance and sound design in the game.
I am Leslie. I mostly worked on the grid system and a lot of the sound.
Firstly, let's begin with our story. Our story involves two world-renowned treasure hunting brothers, Max and Dax, on the search far and wide all across the world for lost treasures from long abandoned places all day. They followed a trail of rumors to a haunted house, said to have been filled with treasures galore. Hearing of this, the brothers couldn't resist such a treasure hunt. But the house will not give up its treasures so easily. Turns out, the house was cursed, twisted into a maze of rooms where no two rooms connect. The only way to escape is to take those valuable treasures to the exit first. Then, the way will be opened for the two. Will they make it out alive and rich?
Alright, so about the game. Haunted Hijinks is a two-player co-op puzzle game where the goal is to get certain crates to an exit door. You push crates around, try to solve puzzles to allow you to push those treasure crates to the door. After all the treasure crates are retrieved, the two players then must exit through the door to clear the level. If you make a mistake, you can simply reset. The main point of the game is to do it as fast as possible.
I've been responsible for making all of the model and art assets in this game. And out of these, for models alone, I've made over a dozen models and variants for this game, as well as the title art and UI.
So for the grid system, everything was basically, it's just numbers on a plane. You everything is set to 0 to begin with when the grid is set, and then each item will set itself. We did that by having everything set to a common script that connects everything. It is a little twitchy, but we'll talk about that more a bit later. There are 4 different types of items. There is just air, which is 0. That is everything that is not important. It can be changed with anything. Then there are wall/impassable objects. Those are things that the player or boxes can't push through. Then there's the boxes themselves, which are moved by the player. And then there's the player themselves, which move around the grid the most and push the boxes, run into walls, and then exit the rooms and other tasks.
Alright. The teleport doors read if a player runs into them or if a crate is shoved into them before sending anything through. As for the exit doors, they read all the treasure chests in the level and only send the players through once the win conditions are set. That is, all the treasure chests are through. Finally, for the sound, I put all the basic functionality into a base inherited script and coded everything else individually for when they need to be run on the different objects.
So, of course, development would not be complete without its challenges. Firstly, some of the difficulties we ran into along the way included getting one of the mechanics that will appear in a later level, pressure plates and doors, that do not have a simple functionality. Sure, it may sound like it's simple to have a switch you press down on, the door opens, you step off it, it closes again, but I had to make it more complex to avoid oversights and bugs because there are 2 players. Meaning that one bug I did have was that when one player was on a switch and then the other stepped on it and then got off and then stepped off it, it would be considered stepped off. It'd be considered off even though a player was still on it. So I had to do some extra debugging in order to fix this. The next challenge I had was the reset function. The reset function was difficult due to errors with the grid system that would occur when a scene reloaded. I had to come up with an alternative way to reset everything, which led to some slightly later oversights, such as if a crate was pushed through the door, it would not reset because it was gone. And if the player was pushed through, it was the same case. So I had to go back and redo those features in order to make sure that the level reset properly.
So the grid system had this thing where it wouldn't really set, you had to set everything manually. So when we tried to make everything set automatically, it needed to have a very specific point. So everything had to be adjusted and moved to have very specific numbers because of how the decimal point was set. And the next thing, the ghost. Big sad, the ghost got cut. We spent a long time working on the ghost. It was supposed to be the major antagonist of the game, other than the timer itself. But it just came into problems, which, very sad, but I think the game came out okay otherwise.
As for the doors, simply sending the player through was straightforward enough, just a simple detect collision. But for the crates, it required a bit more effort. I wound up integrating it into the previous grid system, sensing if a crate was at place and if a player pushed it into place before sending it through properly.
Alright, with all of the troubles out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the demo. Alright, so here's the title screen. Here's the title screen with some basic stuff. Credits from all of us. Levels if you want to just jump straight to any of the 6 levels in the game. Or you could just start right away. Welcome to the treasure hunt. Work together with your teammate to navigate the maze, push crates out of the way, and push treasure chests through the exit door. After all the chests are pushed through, both of you must then escape. Can the 2 of you make it out alive? And rich?
Start!
Alright, so simple mechanics. There's simply a move mechanic as well as a push mechanic. If you press E or O, you push a crate. And after a chest is pushed through the exit door, then the players can go through it as well and clear the level. And it displays your time right on the front after you clear a level. Level 2.
Start!
Alright, yeah. Looks like I'm gonna need a little help from my partner to get out of here. Aside from just solving the puzzle, you also need to work together with your partner if you want to clear this as quickly as you can. Simply trying to do everything won't result in a fast time. I really have to take my time here.
Clear!
And we're clear here. Now here's a new mechanic. Switch doors. Where either a crate or a player has to be on the switch in order for it to be pressed down. Oop. And I can't get through without my partner's help. And how do I get that chest? Looks like I need to push this crate all the way to the back, then onto the purple switch, so that either I or Daniel here do not go through yet. Daniel here can then push the chest to get it out through the door.
Clear!
This level was designed by Leslie.
Start!
Another switch level. Thank you. Now to get this chest out through here. I'll go ahead and hold the door while you go through here.
All of the assets and art were made by Troy, and especially the statue looked very good.
Thank you very much. Now, right, yeah, if you wouldn't mind letting me through, thank you very much. Almost there, in a little under a minute.
Clear!
And if you notice, it displays your total time taken as well as how much time you took in this level on the clear screen. Next up, level 5.
Start!
Another new feature. Doors that teleport you to the other side. You won't know where the door teleports you until you go through it. Which adds a sense of craziness to this level and unpredictability. If you could, thank you.
Clear!
This one looks like it might be a doozy. We're gonna really need to work together if we want to clear this level. I need to hold down the switches while Daniel needs to push the crates. Right. I'll try to be quick on this one.
can see, we are going through this level pretty quickly. That is mostly because we made them, and we have played them a lot to make sure they work.
I've played through this level so many times testing it out. This level has been a source of a lot of bugs during testing.
As you can see, we are about to complete the level in about under 2 minutes. Usually, on my first attempt, because I didn't make this one, this was on Troy.
Yeah, this is a level I designed.
It took me about 3 minutes to get through completely.
Yeah, this level is a little bit of a doozy. And now that we've cleared all 6 levels, at the end, we can see a record that we took 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go through all 6 levels. All right, with that, and there is a second feature included that the high score is saved for this instance of when you play the game, and if you press start again, you won't see the tutorial a second time. All right, and that's the end of our demo. Does anyone have any questions? Go on.
All right, so Jacob,
Come on up.
yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, I got a few. So, what were some features that did not make it into the final build? Besides the ghost, of course.
Well, firstly, the ghost was one feature that made it into the final build. And during the brainstorming session between me and Daniel, we also had the idea to have different platforms for the player and the crate to go up. Since crates could not go up on those platforms, you had to push them down. However, due to constraints, we could not add that. We also had the idea to add double crates that were included in the game's inspiration, but because of time constraints and design difficulties, we could not include that.
So a bit of a vertical element. Okay.
Another one was we had a whole nother level planned. It was much larger than all the other ones, but we had problems with the camera angle,
and the grid system. Because the level was so big, the grid system started to misbehave, and unfortunately, also because this level was not well designed, I decided to cut it. All right, next question, because I know you had another. Oh, I guess we can take one from someone else then.
How does the grid system work?
Leslie?
The grid system works by at the very beginning, the first thing it does is sets everything to 0. It does that by just creating the grid, line, and then just putting a 0.
And then when the level starts, all the objects in the scene then set, based on their position, then set the grid point that they're at to the number of their respective object type.
So 1, 2,
1, 2, or 3.
Or 0.
One for an immobile wall or object, 2 for a crate, and 3 for a player. Go ahead.
How does the game record the fastest time, if I may ask?
Good question. The fastest time is here's how it's recorded. When a level is started, a stopwatch manager is then created. The stopwatch manager, aside from recording your times, also records the highest score of your current run. If it's lower than your current time, if your current time is lower than the high score, then you set a new record.
Thank you.
All right.
How do the exit doors work?
If you would, Daniel.
Okay. The exit doors start by taking an array of all of the treasure chests in the level and reading them all at once. Once the treasure chests are in the same place as the door, it runs the animation and deletes them. Once all the treasure chests are through, that's when it'll start deleting the players as they move through, and once both of them are gone, it runs the winst function.
And I believe we have one more question from the lady in the back over there.
There is a question from chat. basically, one person's asked why the characters are squishy. Another one's asked what inspired the art style.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I agree that the little characters are so cute. I had a fun time designing them and animating them. And as for the art style, part of this did come naturally to me. I basically just put out what I saw in my head to keep it simple, but also keep it cute. Yet to keep it like this cute haunted house, like something you'd see in the ghost houses of Super Mario 3D World.
One of the professors also here at NC basically just told me that his question was already asked by someone else. So,
And which one was that?
Royce Humphreys.
I know the question.
Oh, I believe it was about the doors.
Is there anything else?
I did come up with one more, if I may ask it.
Go ahead.
What was the inspiration for this project exactly?
So the inspiration of this project was based on a Wii party game titled Banana Blockade, which had which had the same gameplay mechanics as this, although with our own changes that were added, such as the ability to push rather than just push and pull like in the original game, to make things a little more snappy.
Another feature we didn't really talk about much was the ability for the pressure plates to sense whether a player or a crate were on it, and to decide if a player was either heavy enough to activate the pressure plate.
Yes.
So some are only activatable by the crate itself.
Or a player.
This isn't very much used, but I think it's a very interesting thing that we could have done more with.
I agree. And does anyone else have any more questions?
I think we're good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your time, everyone, and thank you for seeing our project.
Thank you for showing it.
You're very welcome.
So we're switching over to the next team right now. Again, this was a project from our first year students. So this is, again, a capstone project in the certificate program. This is basically it's the collection of the first year of the associate degree program. These are the students you will see next year in our associate degree capstone project. So give them a hand and look forward to where they and you guys are pretty much on the clock already for next year's capstone. For the Nctc Direct 2027. So, we are. Let's go. Make sure I got everything correct. There we go. All right. Our next team is one of our capstone projects. These are students who are about to graduate or have graduated, or some of them have walked already due to scheduling, how school schedule stuff. But these are students who have been through the first year of the program, have done a presentation like you just saw previously. They started their projects basically in the fall term. We went through rounds of concepts, and then at the end of October they started. Not in the middle of October, they started prototyping and building out the first rung of the onion, the center of the onion, as we would call it, the beginning of their projects. The end of that the portfolio class. Basically, they have started. Again, as I said, they started prototyping the project, and they've done essentially would be the pre-production work for the most part for their project. It's not that everything was done or in terms of asset with this. Again, lots of polishing that happens, but the core of what they were trying to do was established going into this term, and then basically this spring term has been basically a production class to get it done. So So again, what you see here, bigger, more expansive, more depth. Again, this first project, as you will see, much deeper, much more, many technical challenges that they face, and I will let them take over. So this, further ado, it's the mecha. I can't pronounce it correctly. Jacob, pronounce it correctly for me.
Mekaiju.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here, and welcome to a presentation about our project, Mekaiju. So, that's not the button. That's not the... There we go. That's the button. So, hello. My name is Jacob, and I am the team lead for the project Mekaiju. My job was primarily keeping everyone on track. I was also the developer for the Kaiju AI, making them able to give you a proper challenge and a proper fight to defend humanity.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I worked on the player and the player controller.
My name's Elijah. I worked on the upgrades and the arm swaps in the garage scene.
My name is Kyle. I worked on the stages, the music, the sounds, and the kaiju and player animations.
So, what is Mekaiju? What exactly do you do in it? Well, in our game, you play as a building-sized mech. In fighting off the hordes of kaiju in order to protect humanity from total destruction. Or in other words, it's a rock'em sock'em arena beat 'em up. However, you do a little more than just beat 'em up. You take their parts and you slap them onto your own mech so you can vanquish the hordes with much more efficiency. All in the hopes of one day thwarting them for good. So, how did making the kaiju go? Well, it went pretty well, but there were a few challenges that were faced in the process. The first challenge was how to actually handle the kaiju's behavior. How would it think? How would it decide what it was going to do? Ultimately, I went with a sort of state system where the kaiju would operate between 3 states, circling, which is kind of an idle-ish state, thinking, where it decides between the other 2 states what to do, and attacking, where it decides what attack it wants to perform, and then moves into attacking. Excuse me. Sorry. Additionally, our kaijus come equipped with special mutations, which give them special abilities and attacks, augmenting their capabilities. However, that was the second challenge faced. How do you handle that? How do you make that work? What I went with is I decided to have a basic kaiju, which was all the black and white stuff. A simple kaiju that could be built upon in order to make into the 4 types that you see on the screen as, for example. Top right is the tail kaiju. Below that is the bile kaiju. Top left is the claw kaiju. And then below that is the boss kaiju. It's rather apparent how they're all built off of the same kaiju model.
Yeah, developing the player was pretty straightforward. Developing player input, the arm system, and the arms themselves. Some challenges I did face were having the arms persist between scenes. That took a lot of restructuring code and moving code around. It set us back quite a bit. Originally, this project was supposed to be started out as a VR game that was going to be made into a PC VR game, but due to other coursework I had, as well as time constraints, that fell out of scope.
this is where you get your upgrades, aka the garage. While I worked on the garage scene, I figured it would be really easy up until I had to get the buttons to swap onto the mech. Having this issue, it caused the mech to grow bigger 2 times in size. Sometimes the arms, other times the arms would be on the floor or anywhere else. And while I found this hard, it was also fun to do. And overall, I think that due to the time that we've had, I had to go with a simple approach with the buttons. And I didn't get to implement what I wanted to implement. But I think that it turned out well in the end for what we've had. And the garage works how it's intended.
We want every arm to feel unique from each other when it comes to animations. For example, fist punch, claw slash, the tail arm whips, and blaster charge up. For the animations, it went mostly pretty smooth, but there were some times where there was like alignment issues, sometimes the animations faced the wrong way, and the transitions were wrong, but they were quite easily patched. All these animations were built with Unity's animation system, which took me some time, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. We went for more gameplay over graphics when it came to this game, but the visuals we did pick was almost PS1-like, because we focused more on smooth and readable animations rather than just looking good, you know?
So, with that all out of the way, let's actually show you the game. Goodness, I hope it wasn't too loud for that. Alrighty, so yeah, darn it, that was very unsatisfying finger poppage. Alright, let's get into it. So if I can find my yeah, do that. Alright, now then. So, welcome to our game, Makaiju. You have 3 options to start out. You have start, garage, and your quit. I wonder what that does. Let me click it. Nah, I'm not gonna click it. Don't worry. Alright, let's start with, well, starting. As you can see, here we are in a kind of central park of sorts. And right in front of us, a kaiju makes their approach. We use the left and right mouse buttons in order to activate our arms. And we use WASD to move around a bit. No jump button, but you'll weigh like, what, a couple hundred tons? How would you jump? Alright. Give it a few good smacks, back up a little. I found the best strategy in order to take these guys down is to treat them kind of like a boxing match. Weave in, get your hits, weave out before you get hit. And down it goes. Round 1 down, round 2. This time, nothing, cause I'm unstoppable. Get up, you good Vixen. Get him. Get him. Yeah, we did it. Oh, you can't see what. Okay. Oh, uh-oh. That one's got red claws. That's the claw kaiju. That's not good. That's very bad news. Hey, get back here. Quit running off. Ow. Hey, ow. Hey, ow. Okay, that hurt. Took quite a bit of damage there. Luckily, it's the third round, so a little battery came in to help me recharge my shields. Not full power, but still enough to finish this fight. Now, just go. Whoa, ain't gonna give me that easy. Go, 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 go. Oh, ow, what the? Oh, he came in from behind. Go, jeez. I am not doing a very good job of dodging these guys. Punching him with all I got. One down. Ow, ow. No. Managed to dodge that one. Punch. Punch. Okay, I'm gonna back up a bit. Grab some. Kind of reposition myself. And show that you knock over the trees because he's so big. Not the cars though. These are tough. Tough little things. No wonder superheroes are throwing them at giant monsters all the time. Huh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, well that's embarrassing. That's a bit of a hiccup. That did not appear previously. So, I guess that's another one of the challenges I forgot to mention. Sometimes the kaijus become immortal. We have no idea why this happens. So, well, I guess you'll get to see what happens when it defeats you. It'll... Come on, punch. Hit me. Alright, look at that. Thing ended. Wow. Okay. So we're actually gonna move on to the garage real quick. Here is where you can buy various arms based on the guts that you've acquired from the kaijus you've beaten. So I'm gonna buy a claw arm for my left hand arm. Left hand. We're gonna continue. Now let's try this again with a nice clawed hand. Hey, shoot. Take him down. So as you can see, I'm doing way more damage with the clawed hand. These guys are going down easy. Oh, he got me back. Well, for the sake of time, let's not walk you through the entire fight and try to show you
with that, we're gonna move to the QA session for you guys.
Yeah, apologies. That did not work as intended. I'm very sorry for the lackluster performance. Alright, now then. Does anyone have a few questions to
I'll
ask?
start. I have two. Firstly, I would like to ask, how different is the final game compared to the beginning concept?
Well, not too far off, admittedly. We got the kaiju fighting the player. We got kaijus having different mutations. The only thing really missing is, the later levels, if we actually got to show you them, were supposed to initially have a gimmick with them. We have a beach level, a kind of power plant level. Right now, they're just kind of different locales, but they're supposed to have a gimmick attached to them. For the beach level, you'd move slower in the water, so you need to beat the more amphibious kaijus in order to take their amphibious parts and add them to your mech, so you can move effectively in the water. Meanwhile, with the power plant area, the area would have been able to be destroyed, causing electric sparks to spread around the battlefield, causing a hazard to step in for you and the kaijus. Well, except for the ones immune to the electricity. There's also the matter of the boss kaiju. Right now, we only have one, which is pretty much just the basic kaiju with all the mutations and bigger. But the original plan was to have each level have its own boss kaiju. Unless I'm forgetting anything, that's about it.
Alright, well, I have a second question.
Okay.
Why did you name the currency Guts?
Well, because that's what you're getting from the kaiju. You're ripping them apart in order to use their parts to add to your own kaiju. Those claws aren't just giant metal claws. They are kaiju claws strapped onto your fist. So we use guts because that's kind of the general term for body parts.
Oh, delicious.
uh,
That's all from me.
all part of a balanced breakfast. Now then,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Did Pacific Rim inspire this at all, or?
Its concept did, but really in development, we tried to stray away from how it handled its concept and stuff, and decided to try and go our own way with it. Whereas Pacific Rim, it was analogies for giant storms and human teamwork. Here it's rock'em sock'em, kaijus versus mechs. Any more questions for us?
Yeah, a couple questions from chat. First one is, if you had more time or extra person, what would you add to the game?
If we had a little bit more time or an extra person, I would say we'd add some VR capabilities, because that was the initial plan. However, we didn't quite have the manpower to do that, so we decided to scrap it. But if we had an extra person that we could dedicate to that, that'd be really cool to have a part VR project under our belts.
I have a question.
Yes?
How many kinds of kaijus are there in total?
In total, there's 8. There's the basic kaiju. There's one for each mutation, singular. So that would be the claw, bile, and tail. Then there's 3 for each double combination. Claw, tail, claw, bile, bile, tail. And then there's the final one, which is the boss, that has all 3 mutations.
And I just have another one. What other kind of mutation slash kaijus would you add?
Well, as previously mentioned, in the world that we were able to add level gimmicks, each kaijus of that level would have a mutation that centers around the gimmick. Like, for the beach, some kaijus would be slower in the water, while some would have an amphibious mutation that would allow them to move normally. But we also floated the idea of a spiked kaiju, that while they were kind of passively circling around you, they would extend spikes out of their body, harming you if you tried to attack them. So you'd have to try to attack them when they're trying to move in to attack you, which makes it a little difficult in order to deal with. But we didn't have time to add those, so we
Some
scrapped
people
it.
like challenging difficulties.
Yeah, and should we ever revisit this project again, I'd love to actually add that in. Another thing is it was floated around the idea of having a smaller fodder kaiju that's just like this little thing that you can punch and get rid of. But ultimately, we just decided to focus on our basic kaijus. Yes?
Can you mix up the arm types?
Yes. Each arm is able to have a kind of its own slot. So you can select any of the 4 arms available and mix and match. You could have a left claw arm and a right tail arm, or a left tail arm and just a basic right arm. Or you could have 2 blaster arms. World's your oyster there.
Comment from chat. Picture this, a little kaiju as a companion.
Oh, that would be fun. Maybe more of a Mecha Godzilla situation there, but yeah, certainly.
Any other questions? Yeah, some of them have already been answered already, and some of them, it's about the bug, which is what I'm not trying to avoid. Is that the one where did the arms go when you were fighting the Immortal Kaiju? They were no longer there because they were square?
Yes, that's
Oh,
the question he was waiting for.
Yes. Our mech was not there, and now they are square. Very, very unfortunate series of events for them.
That's why he's immortal. He took your arms.
The arms were just a little bit below the screen, but yeah. Anyway.
Is that the last question?
Unless anyone else came up with something, I believe that's all.
Give him a hand of applause.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
The last team to come up.
And I was serious. This is the question he asked me to ask.
Our last project is Match Match. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, welcome to the Match portion of Direct.
I'm Carol Hernandez. I was the Match 3 programmer, and I managed the sound effects on the Match 3 side.
I'm Alex Sledge. I did the animation on the RPG side and did the sound effects on the RPG side.
And I'm Morgan Baker. I am the team artist, an RPG programmer, and the one who came up with this concept.
To quickly introduce you to the gameplay is essentially a mix between a Match 3 and an RPG. And if you don't know what a Match 3 is, it's essentially Candy Crush, but instead of trying to get as much points as you can, you're doing attacks. This is the Match 3 side. As I explained earlier, this is going to be the primary gameplay. And I did mention that you do attacks after you do matches, and how that works is that each tile does a different type of attack, and it matters that how much tiles that were in a match. So for example, let's take if you get 3 diamonds, you'll do 6 damage, but if you get 5 diamonds, you'll do 10 damage.
And here's the RPG side. After all the matches are done, it plays the effects, and then it goes back to the player control of the matches. And we have an animation system for the attacks that starts with the player's attacks, but then goes to the enemy's attack. And we have sound effects for every action, like the magic sound and the death sound. And we've got different music for the game, like the game part 2 that's been playing, and the menu music.
And this is my section that focuses on the art assets. So when making this game, I didn't know who or what I wanted the player character to be, but then I remembered I had someone who would fit wondrously in an RPG setting. Her name is Larius, a character that I've had for a bit. She's an axe-wielding warrior with a dragon form that I would love to implement in a full version of this game if I ever made one. She's very dear to me. When making an RPG, animations are very important to the attack sequence. I nearly strained my wrist making most of these, even if I tried to take the easy way out for most of these. Matchmash was inspired by the trend of those quirky little RPGs, so I was trying to go with a pixel art style for a game. Granted, pixel art may have also included having like anti-alias turned off with like the normal brushes, and I did start with the clouds before the tree. Thanks for asking. But the sky was good enough to be used both in the battle background and the main menu. And if you ever need an enemy on short notice, just recolor your main character and call it a day. A lot of video game villains are like born that way. I would have made Shadow had more attacks than just the basic melee, but despite the nagging of balance, I was told not to give Shadow to attack the player as much as the player did. Other assets that I made include the match-free board, the grass title, the button and attack processing UI, and the icon and the prop animation that you can see here. Real proud of those. I try to make them fit the same pixel art style as the rest of the previous assets, which might be better shown once we get to the game. And before we get into the game, just a word of advice. If you ever want to make a match free for whatever reason and you're using Unity, do not use Unity's match free example. It was, simply put, a waste of time. But enough time wasters. Let's get into the game, shall we?
So before you begin, a couple Pixeloxes are in chat, and they're identifying with you with the carpal tunnel that you started to have. So a lot of them loving the art style already. So just wanted to point that out to you guys before you started.
Thank you. Apologies. Let's go. If I can have like my teammate explain as I play the game for everybody.
Alright, right here, this is just regular match 3 gameplay, as you can see. Right now they're trying to get as much matches as they can, so they can do as much damage to the enemy. And that's about it on the RPG side. And if you've noticed, if you paid attention to the player health, you would see that it sometimes, like regenerates. That's because one of the tiles, the heart tile you see, actually heals the player. And that's like the most like unique interaction with the tiles so far, is just them healing the player, while the others essentially just do like a different amount of damage. For example, the spade can do like, a boosted amount of damage compared to the others.
And considering that we went over 75, we're currently under 75, I'm pretty sure the music would change, which means we are like we're in the second phase. If only like we were able to implement something changing there, but
the music's a bit more jumpy now, if you've noticed.
yeah.
There we go, doing all those attacks. Doing the heal and then the attack in return. And if you've noticed, the tiles that we have, most of them were inspired by
Mario RPG.
yeah. So basically, all the card, the card suits, and an added star.
And Moon.
And Moon, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, doing massive damage. Get the heal.
I think.
Attack him, and then they think that's it.
Yep.
And we've won the game. Congrats, you won.
Did. Alright. Think this is now time for Q&A?
Hello. I have a bit of a question, if I may.
Yep.
You went a bit into this already. Hearts heal and different tiles do different attacks. What exactly does that entail, though? Like, how different are the various attacks?
The diamonds, as you saw, those are just basic attacks. They just do a flat amount of damage. Clubs are essentially the magic attack in the game, and already went over hearts and spades, as you know. And to cover the last two, the stars and the moons, they do the same thing because like they do like a stronger magic attack, kind of like the spade does like a stronger normal attack. The stars and the moons do stronger magic attack, and then if you were paying attention, that actually did the most amount of damage in the game.
Okay. I have a question. What would be some ideas for mechanics in the future?
Ooh, that is a good question. I would definitely like want to be able to like redo the RPG side and like be able to like implement like clear like a clear communication. But in terms of like gameplay, I would probably want to try to see if I could like do something with like the dragon form that I showed off during the little slideshow.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah. Maybe like have like that be like a some sort of bar that you can use, but oh, items. That would also be like something nice to be able to use.
Yeah, like other Flash 3 games.
Yeah.
What about relics for like builds and combos and stuff? Oh, that's a good idea.
I have a question. Is the moon supposed to be, was it originally supposed to be something different?
It was actually. That was supposed to be like a physical version, like a normal like physical attack version of like stars, where it's gonna be your most powerful move there. Yeah. I wanted to do like a little like jump up, spin, and then slam down the axe kind of like animation. So like, and I would like probably call that crescent swing. But yeah, no, I never got around to it.
If no one else has got another question, I've got another question to ask.
Yeah.
there any plans to add other characters?
I've been asked that a lot. Not really. I'm gonna be honest, no.
I got a question. Do you plan to have a leveling system?
Yes, actually. Something that, like, once you, like, make the player level up, you'll be able to choose to, like, get more moves, boost up your attack, probably, like, boost up your, like, HP, stuff like that.
Any other questions?
I think I got one more. So, what exactly inspired this type of gameplay? I don't feel like I've seen anything like it, honestly.
Honestly, it was like, it just came to me when, like, we were, like, tasked to, make up some, like, gameplay, capstone ideas. And, like, I was just, like, stewing in, like, some stuff, and I was just like, what if, like, because, like, you would always try to see, like, those, like, mobile games with the match freeze, and, like, there would be, like, stuff like, oh, match stuff to, like, help this guy, like, escape from, like, a snake or so by destroying blocks underneath him by matching stuff. And, I was just like, what if I just took that, all these, like, weird, not, like, really even real ad ideas, and just turn them into, like, a real RPG-like system.
I do remember us talking about Dungeon Crawler. That's an indie game where it's a claw game, and then what you pick up does attacks to enemies. It talked about that with an inspiration in terms of how things could be structured, and things we could steal from that to use for your game. There is a question I have to ask. Someone is commenting that it's kind of like puzzles and dungeons, more unique. Another person has asked, I understand the matching, but what does match mean?
That is the most silliest question I would ever get. It is both like referencing the fact that it's a match free, yes. The second match is the fact that it's a fighting match. This was supposed to be kind of like more of a like a Street Fighter kind of a like inspiration, honestly. But I decided to make it more RPG because I feel like that was more manageable. Yes.
Oh, I do have. Did you ever have an idea for a story of this game?
I do want to see if I can implement a story, but like in terms of story, I was more focused on like making it work, you know?
Yeah, right now the story is that you're Larius and you fight your shadow.
Larius.
Sorry, I get confused, but
isn't it a sin for a developer to mess up the characters' names?
Yeah.
The greatest sin they keep committing.
Yeah, let's focus on match 3, alright?
Yep. But yeah, we were trying to make the game work. If like we could, we would probably have like a level select thing, like a little map. But yeah.
Another question from chat: if you had another person, what could you add?
I don't think we have room for another person.
Well, for the scope of this project you were working on, no, not really.
Yeah, no.
But if you were to go bigger, where would you might go?
Probably.
What about upgrades?
Upgrades, yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure about upgrades. Like, what would I upgrade?
I think we had a bit of a discussion for upgrades, like a bit.
Like RPG styled equipment, like weapons and stuff.
Where you could upgrade the matches themselves to do more.
That's what leveling up was for, I think.
There were a lot of things we had discussed that you guys had discussed about what you could potentially do, but you kept to the core concept and getting what we saw today. You focused on that and getting that polished and not worried about these extra I mean, these are things that if you were to build into a bigger game, you would start implementing these type of features. But you were focused on what you were working on today, what you presented today. and polished that extremely well. So that was the focus. It was more of a focus to polish what you had, what you could get done, and not add additional features.
Yeah, because no offense, Professor, but we wanted to pass.
Yes. You did pass, but we'll put that in perspective. No, there were. I know, Carol. You had you started with the Unity Match 3 thing, and then you built a new Match 3 within it's like a week. You basically banged that out. But then that went through like 2 or 3 more refactors, and I know I helped you to unify the code, to simplify one of the processes on the board, and that threw out a ton of other code that depreciated a ton of code that then dropped out of the project. And there was a lot of scenarios where we wrote one system one way and then changed how it worked. And I know part of that you guys blamed me for half of that. So that's admittedly true. I will take blame for half for that as well.
I'm only blaming you for the fact that you kept saying oh, you need more balance, and it's just I wanted to balance. I wanted the enemy to attack more, but you said no. That's the only thing I'm blaming you about.
Oops. Guilty as charged on that one. So, any other questions for this team?
It's simple, it's safe, and it's a foolproof system.
All right. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Well, that was our last project. Again, the last 2 projects, the Kaiju and the Match.
Mech Kaiju.
Thank you for correcting me again. I have not gotten this right all term long, and I will not get this right during presentation.
It's not that hard.
Quite simple. Mecha and Kaiju.
It's not that hard.
Kaiju.
And it's not even my project.
Kaiju, not Mecha Kaiju. That's the mistake he's been making all semester.
Now we know where I'm getting it from.
It's important.
All right.
to know.
Anyways.
How hard is it?
Anyways, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank again everyone who's been in chat, who's watching. Those of you who will be watching on demand after the fact, I want to thank you for showing up and supporting our students on these projects. Again, I'm Professor Wallach. I am basically the point person for the game development program here at Nctc. Again, the first project you saw was our first year students. This is what we're doing in 1 year, and then these past 2 projects that I just mentioned. This is what our graduating students are doing. They've worked their behinds off on this. I have been watching them all. Watching them. Basically, I've been watching as these projects have been building, and this is the day of pride for me. This is where I get to show you what my students have been doing, what they're capable of, what they're doing. Yes, we have bugs, but games are big, complicated systems, and no game doesn't ship without bugs. Mm-hmm. It happens. But moving on, I mean, even though that team was able to move on gracefully, and that's a sign of maturity and growth as potential developers going on. That's grace under fire as I have not seen in quite a while. I've got my own horror stories, but yeah, no, you guys, that was grace under fire when things were failing on you, and that I gotta commend you for handling it well. The match team, holy cow, you guys were playable 6 weeks ago. And that was an incredible moment to see that first playable of your game, and then to jump from there to where you are. And that was a joy to see you 6 weeks ago. You've just been polishing the heck out of it to where it is now. It's that's a beautiful game. Easily, probably you're in one of the top projects produced out of this program. So again, 4 years now. But yeah, no, I mean, 3 years under the new regime, as I call it. I mean, basically the first Nctc Direct was under the game design program. So we put them aside. But as of, you're probably one of the best projects produced so far. you're definitely going to going back to you guys as an example of what to do. Makaiju, you are another good project. You're just a lot more complicated, and that's just the nature of what you guys were building. There will be things that other future teams will be learning from you.
Like animation.
Oh, that's already no. So I do. Yeah, I need to give another call out to the Mekaiju team. You found out how to use the Unity animation system effectively, and based on what you learned, what you guys did and learned, I was able to learn that system. And then turn around and added 2 labs to the video game art class to teach the students how to use that system, as well as the event system as well. This is how the curriculum evolves. You guys. I mean, you have evolved the curriculum in a particular way. I know. Yes, you did, and I want to point out Morgan as well. In that course, Morgan produced an example that will inspire students in future classes as well. So this is this is how the curriculum evolves. You guys push. I set you guys up to push boundaries, and you do. And we learn from what you guys have. We've learned from what you have learned, and that will affect. Again, you've set the bar higher. The bar was set high last year. You guys have set the bar even higher, and that's how we. Again, this is how the curriculum evolves, how we improve, and how we get better. And that's that's as an industry, as a professional, that you will do a project, you will learn something from that project, and you will evolve from that. Every project I've worked on, I've improved, I evolved, I've learned from it. Whether it was during my undergraduate or my graduate studies at the, or working at Activision for my case. So. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I want to thank. I'm going to give you guys a big hand of applause because it's been a pleasure to have all of you as students this year. It has been. You've worked hard. You've shown this the degree program off extremely well, and I thank you for that. It's been I've enjoyed watching all of these projects develop, but some of you from 2 of you from literally just October, and then the other project, the first year team, literally from like 6 weeks ago you started, honestly. And you came to the table, you worked hard, you presented well, and that's what the industry needs you to do. Again, this has been Professor Wallach. I'm the full-time faculty here at Nctc for the Game Development and Application Programming degree. For everyone here, for all the students, faculty, staff, I want to thank everyone who's watched. We will be back again. This is a yearly tradition here at NCC. So we will be back in a year from now with new capstones, new first-year projects, and potentially other projects that students have done over the year. All right. Thank you, everyone.